Hi everyone, welcome to your reading. Happy 9/9 portal. I wanted to come on, and I am not going to be pulling very many cards in this video. This is actually more a message for the Divine Feminine Collective as someone who considers herself a part of the Divine Feminine Collective. Excuse me, I keep saying connected because I feel connected to the collective right now. So I'm sorry for misspeaking, but that is sort of part of what I've been feeling. Basically, I just want to communicate some intense downloads that I've been getting since basically that new moon in Virgo that we had a week, 10 days ago. And what I've been getting from my own guides and ancestors, how it relates to the Divine Feminine Collective, and just some general guidance that I feel like may assist. What I've been feeling has been a heaviness in the energy, almost like carrying a weight, a lethargy, and a sense of really needing to rest a lot. I think part of that has to do with the 9/9 portal. I will just say though, portals are basically, think about the word portal. It's a doorway, right? So it presents an opportunity to use a particular energy in a particular way. You can choose to walk through the door, or you can bypass the door and sort of let it just be what it is. But you may or may not feel an energetic pull or a noticing of that portal energy. Nines are all about cycles, completing, starting new cycles. It's also 3 times 3. If you believe in like Trinity, like the Holy Trinity from Christianity, the Maiden Mother Crone triangle, there's a lot of like triangle cycles, and that's also about sort of so 3 times 3, 9 cycles ending, new beginnings. It is a beautiful and a powerful energy, and there's been a lot coming up with that of preparation. 9, it's the number before 10. So there is a level, there's an element of like almost there feeling as well, at least for me. And a feeling of preparation, needing to get ready. So whether that is getting ready energetically and really tackling some of these issues, that inner child issues or emotional issues or mental issues, getting your mindset right, getting your environment right, getting kicking some bad habits, sort of feeling this getting ready energy. But the guidance that I've been receiving is not to overdo it. And I know for me, I tend not to get too personal on my channel just because I don't feel like this is the place or the venue for that. But I've been pretty open with you guys about having some health problems. The guidance from my particular ancestors has been to not overdo it. There's a little gnat or like a little like bugaboo. Sorry, that was a little distracting for me. But yeah, there is a feeling of getting ready, but also the balance of not overdoing and doing too much, because you also have to get your body ready to possibly expend more energy when you get to the 10, whatever the 10 is for you. The reason why I have this card out today is because the thing that has been coming up to me for me image wise a lot has been dandelions. I was on the subway, and I've been seeing dandelions outside as I go for walks outside, and I've been seeing dandelions in this sort of puffed state. But on the train, I saw a tote bag with a dandelion, and then right outside through the train window, I saw another like a t-shirt that had the dandelion in this puffed state, and I took a mental note, and I told myself that I was going to meditate on it. And I hope that you guys, the one thing about working with lighting is that it can be hard with shiny cards. But the thing about the dandelion is I almost think of it in this state as like that Virgo energy after Leo season, because the dandelion, first of all, lion, Leo, we are coming out of Leo season into Virgo season. And it's this sort of confident yellow puffball. And then it turns from the yellow puff into this. And each one of these little seedlings is one new dandelion that came from this original dandelion. So it's not only like that connection to something bigger than ourselves, source, God, but it's also sort of this symbol of hope, of wishing, of dreaming, of sort of evolving and sort of spreading that energy to others, and to and sharing and being generous. It can dandelion symbolism can be so many things, and I would actually really be curious to hear what this sort of phase of the dandelion means to you. It might be even worth meditating on for yourself personally. I'd love to hear about it in the comments if you'd like to sound off. The other and there's something about the element of air with this as well. Air blowing the little individual dandelions away from the initial dandelion to sort of make a way for themselves in the world. Air is associated to me with communication, with thought, with logic. It doesn't have to be, but that's how I associate it. And I think sometimes we can sort of logic ourselves away from source and from our intuition. And I think for me, there has been an emphasis lately, especially, and for me, it personally, it's been sort of a theme in my life since the beginning of my the most recent stage of my spiritual awakening. But going with the flow and my personal lack of fluidity. I'm saying all this is pretty candidly because I feel like it is not only a personal thing, but I do feel like it is sort of a collective thing as well. I don't have a lot of water in my astrological chart. I have mostly earth. I'm a Virgo. My birthday is coming up very soon. And I have a lot of fire in my chart as well. And I have one air planet as well. Sort of like randomly sprinkled in. But I have no water. So for me, I sort of decide things. And it's hard for me to be fluid, to go with the flow, to move with the current, as it were. And that's not to say that I'm not emotional or that I lack sort of an intuition. It's just, for me, it's sort of a deep inner knowing that's constant, as opposed to sort of a like spark of inspiration or like sort of a trickle down. It's hard for me to explain. So for me, fluidity and being sort of in a truly surrendered flow state is really hard, and it's really hard to maintain. And I feel like for the Divine Feminine Collective at this time, that's something that we are all meant to be working on. There is something about surrendering and a lack of resistance energy to whatever this portal is presenting us with. If that's leaving behind certain people, places, things, jobs, circumstances, objects, clutter, habits. If something is clearly presented to us by the universe saying this is done, this is stale, you need to leave this behind, and our sort of head or our will kicks in and says, oh, but I don't want to let that go. I've been putting into this for such a long time. This thing cost me so much money. I don't want to give it away. But this job is all I've ever known. I'm too scared to go with this new job offer that's everything I've ever wanted. It's like there's something about letting go and going with this surrender and going with this flow and pushing us to this new direction, because this is the next stage of our lives. It's meant to be. And this surrender, this flow, is ultimately what is putting us, the Divine Feminine Collective, into a more healed feminine energy where we can be truly open and vulnerable in order to receive these blessings that have been perfectly designed for us. And I feel like so much of us, we have this willfulness, we have this, but I want this. I thought it would go this particular direction in this particular manner. And it's like, for us, I feel like the how has to be released. The timing has to be released in order to make room for what is meant to come. And I feel like with that release, with that surrender, comes the desired outcome anyway. It's just sort of the how is beyond our current concept of understanding. So we're accidentally manifesting it not happening by thinking about, well, I don't understand how. I don't understand how this could happen because look at all this past damage. Look at all this situation, if you're in no contact with your desired person. Well, how could he possibly come back after doing all this damage? He has to make it up to me in this particular way. That's putting a self-limiting belief on the situation and making it so there's no way for your person to come in because you're saying that there's no way because you don't understand it. Meanwhile, if you release and let go, there could be a way that you haven't thought about, or a particular solution that hasn't occurred to you logically. And that's what I'm talking about, non-resistance and surrender and sort of giving the logic side up. And there's so much for us to individually focus on for ourselves, Divine Feminine, and our own abundance. Just sort of dropping the rope of the tug of war of the connection that you find yourself in. And working on your own healing and working on your own divinity and working on your own abundance. Because the thing of it is, the Divine Feminine energy comes into the crown chakra, the third eye, and the throat first on the spiritual awakening journey. The divine masculine comes into the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus chakra, the bottom. And then you meet in the middle with the heart. I think I have actually a little... I hate this little thing, if I'm perfectly honest, but somebody gave it to me and I just haven't gotten rid of it or don't really know what to do with it. So the feminine wakes up here first, the masculine wakes up here first, and then you meet in the middle at the heart. And then you sort of swap. I do feel like during this 9/9 time, there's a lot of, and to be perfectly clear, I'm going to post this video as soon as I'm done recording it. I'm not going to wait for a premiere or whatever. I'm going to post it as soon as it's done because the message needs to go out. But the portal energy is about 2 days before and 2 days after. So this energy has been happening and it will continue to happen for a couple of days. And I do feel like there's some intensive sacral chakra healing during this time for the feminine energy. I've heard some people say root. I've heard some people say throat. And for you, that might be coming up. Whatever comes up, allow it to come up. For me, within the last 6 weeks in particular, this is what I also wanted to talk about. Guys, it's been a really, really intense 6 weeks. By the way, sorry, this just caught my eye. This is obsidian. Beth wanted me to talk more about crystals. Hi, Beth. Everybody say hi, Beth. Obsidian is fantastic for protection, shadow work, warding off any sort of like jealousy or unwanted negativity. It's a good grounding stone as well. If you get it in a point like this, you can also ward people off. Just kidding. Don't do that unless you have to. Amethyst is also a great one for these upper chakras, for cleansing, purifying, relaxing, calming the mental state. I leave it on some of my decks to kind of help sort of cleanse the energy out of them and sort of purify them. And the obsidian I leave like next door, like nearby, kind of just perched, so that any negativity kind of goes away from my decks. So the last 6 weeks since pre-Lionsgate portal 8/8, I would say honestly since mid-July for me personally, there has been so much purging and changing of life and relationships and developments in myself, self-growth. There's been releasing of connections and relationships. There has been healing in certain relationships as well. There has been sort of these crazy plot twists in life that I have come to sort of, as it was happening, I felt like I was sort of in shock, to be perfectly honest, and also sort of like panic mode, like problem solving. Like it almost felt like I was like putting out fires as it was happening. And I was just sort of in my best state of surrender and just like rolling with it. And then sort of when the shock of it all has started wearing off and I've started beginning to process, I can really see how it all was divinely orchestrated. Some of it at the time I knew was divinely orchestrated because there was no way that my logical mind could have foreseen some of these events that happened to me personally. And I'm sorry for keeping it vague. It's just, putting stuff on the internet, it can get complicated, and I just don't want sort of the right person or the wrong person to see something and take offense or feel a certain way about it. So I hope you can understand why I'm being a little bit vague with certain things, especially since it's so recent. long story short, some of this, there's no way that my logical mind could have conceived of some of these sort of like plot twists that have happened in the last 6 weeks. And certain things have felt totally like falling apart. And it happened all at once, which was so crazy. And a lot of divine feminines have felt this way about this particular time period. Because I've talked to other divine feminines who have gone through really similar things to what I have gone through. And I did share specifics with specific people. And they were like, oh my God, the same exact thing happened to me. Which is, again, like, this is stuff that I couldn't have foreseen or thought of or like dreamed of. Like, anyway, it was completely divinely orchestrated. And by the way, I've been drinking iced tea a lot lately, and I've been making tea from particular, this is bottled tea with no sugar. The brand is Tejava, Tejava, and the reason I like it, it's a bit expensive, but you can find it at Trader Joe's if you go there. It has no preservatives in it at all. What you can also do is stick organic tea bags and put the jar by a window and make sun tea for yourself. It's really healthy. And some great herbs for calming are lavender, chamomile. You can add like black tea to that if you want a little bit of caffeine and some of that like tea taste. I've been also making catnip tea for myself, which is it's in the mint family, and it's really good to promote digestion, relaxation, and feminine hormone regulation. Just as a sidebar, I've gotten really into sort of researching some herbs lately, so I'm working on anyway, maybe if you guys want to learn a little bit more about certain herbs, you can drop it in the comments of the video, and I'd be happy to do a video on that. Anyway, cheers. I just needed a little sip to wet my whistle. But now what was I saying? Shoot, I hate that. Oh yeah, so the last 6 weeks has been a really intense time, and I'm not sure, there's been a lot of planets in retrograde, but typically that doesn't make things happen. That makes people reflect on things. And, sometimes people can make hasty decisions. That's sort of the joke that like all your exes text you during Mercury retrograde. But it's different. There's just this sort of strange energy of elevation, and I think that's also another reason why, for me personally, and probably for you guys as well, you've been feeling that urge to rest a lot more. I wouldn't recommend right now being the time to kind of like go out and like party hardy with everybody. I feel like right now it's really important to rest your body, because I would imagine with all of this sort of purging and shedding, and I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, like I said before, emotional purging as well, significant emotional purging. I think someone said to me recently, Julia, we've been talking about some really like difficult subjects, and you like start to cry, but then you stop yourself, and you can't keep stopping yourself from crying. You have to actually let it out of your body, otherwise it'll stack up and up and up and up and up, and that purging and that release will never happen. And at the time I was like kind of embarrassed because here I am, thinking I'm this, fairly spiritually in touch person, and something as silly as like let it out caught me. But then sure enough, I did a heart chakra meditation that is so beautiful. I will link that in the description below. I really recommend that everybody try that. It's beautiful. If you consider yourself to be on a twin flame journey. And I totally allowed myself to release and to cry and purge those emotions that had been held inside for so long because I didn't want to cry. I'm fine, and oh my gosh, it was so healing, and I felt so much lighter afterwards. It was like acknowledging those emotions, allowing them to freely flow, again talking about fluidity and flow and non-resistance and surrender. It allowed me to heal that feminine side of myself in a way where I felt like I really actually made some progress. I'm not someone who is sitting here saying that you need to cry every day, because I don't think that's necessarily like helpful or beneficial. But I do think that it's like, if you're in a significant amount of pain over a prolonged period of time, you do have to let it out. You just have to. Okay, I'm trying to think about the other downloads that I've had, and maybe more will come to me. I will pull a few cards since you guys have listened to me go on and on and on, and we can just sort of see. But that dandelion, I would love to hear from you guys about the dandelion symbolism and what it means to you, because I just think that would be fascinating. I talked about what it meant to me. By the way, I've had a couple people order the money oil, so I have less than when I started. Oh, you can't even see it. This mica is a little, the sparkles are like stuck to the jar a little bit, but I still have more. So if you would like to order, details are in the description box. Can you give us some messages for the collective? You want to come out. The voice. Yes. There is also something about this music is by Malte Martin, who I've played before, and I love his work. The voice. Healing the throat chakra, speaking up for yourself in the moment. I'll be honest, that is something that I have recently discovered is a really big challenge for me, more than I ever would have thought. I consider myself to be a rather opinionated, sort of outspoken person, but in the moment, I freeze up and I don't say what I think. I don't, stand up for myself. And that's come to light recently more than in the past. And that's something that I am actively choosing to heal with this 9/9 portal, and even in the week or two leading up to it. And I'm really meditating on and working on for myself. And there is something about healing the throat chakra in order to take steps forward, sort of saying the hard thing in the moment in order to not only elevate you, but elevate your relationships in a way where what's not meant for you, like if someone can't give you the thing that you speak up for yourself about, then that's okay. And you can keep moving forward and find that with somebody at the next vibration level. Yeah, that is real. And also, I mean, for me personally, I need to, I think this is probably the most personal video I've done on this channel. I need to start nurturing my voice again in spite of all the health difficulties that I have, and begin sort of nurturing those relationships that I had when I was a singer and reviving them. I've put a lot of that on hold while I've been struggling with my health. And I need to pour into those cups again. And you may have sort of a category of life like that, where you've been sort of in hiding from, or feeling like you're like hermiting away from like that category of people, whether it's like a church and something happened and you don't feel comfortable going there anymore and you're not sure, or, a particular side or branch of the family. I mean, check in with yourself and see, is it time to revive that? Is it time to let that go? Is this something that I want to heal? Is this something I want to release? Is this something I want to completely purge and cut off? Is this good for me? Is it not? You may have some wounded masculine energy or some issues regarding a father wound that you may need to work on. This may also be your divine masculine coming in because, okay, the star tells me that I might be right about the divine masculine because I also was looking at the pear in the mouth here. And the star is renewed energy, hope, and healing. It can also be like a message or a communication or contact. As we're talking about this, it's funny. I have my little Palo Santo incense going, which I love, I adore. But it almost feels like it's like clogging my throat a little bit. You healing that throat chakra as well as the sacral chakra, it's going to bring and draw your relationship with your divine masculine together. It's something about it. It's being mirrored. If you can hear that noise from my hallway, I sincerely apologize. I don't know why they've just started doing God knows what in there. Mystery. There is some wounding within you. It might be throat chakra, it might be root chakra, it might be sacral chakra, it might be something like I was talking about where it's like you don't realize that you have this wound. It's like there's a level of like unconscious energy around what it is that you're meant to be working on, but it is being illuminated with this particular portal. It's like the mystery is being illuminated and coming to light, and it's almost like speak your truth. There's also, with this father energy, I'm getting really emotional. Okay, this is like very strange. I'm sorry. Because I just, excuse me. I just heard lay your ego down. And I'm almost seeing it like an image of like laying, like gently laying something to the side, your ego to the side, as you have this open communication with your divine masculine. Because the ego is what keeps us in that protective shell, if we're honest, fearful and sometimes angry state. And the ego does that from a place of self-preservation. I'm scared, I'm gonna get hurt. It would be stupid if I fell for that again. But true divine feminine energy is open-hearted vulnerability and being and it's sort of like taking the ego off, almost like a coat, like just letting it fall off your shoulders. And saying, you know, this is what it is, and if you can't handle that, that's okay with me. But this is who I am. This is what it is. This is what I want. Gosh, that really, that choked me up. This video is a strange one, that's for sure. I mean, all I can do is speak for myself. I've been going through, I know I said it earlier, I've been going through these kind of intense feeling changes. And it just feels like it's the time period and it's the time. me just see. Messages for the Divine Feminine Collective at this time. Messages for the Divine Feminine Collective at this time. I feel like this video has already been very long, and I'm sorry, but this is just sort of how it has come out. Oh my God. Divine Feminine energy. There it is. And bringing sexy back. 9-9. 9-9? You guys. And 3-9? Remember what I was saying earlier? 3 times 3 is 9? Okay. I literally just got like goosebumps. Bringing sexy back. Yes, but that's also about healing your sacral chakra, which I mentioned earlier as well. This says chasing your desires, but I have to be honest, what I'm getting is not so much chasing your desires, but making a choice to either... Okay, I literally got inspired about a minute after my phone died. I know it died after pulling this card. I wanted to go ahead and try to snag this for the thumbnail of this video. Beautiful. Hopefully it'll translate somehow. I'll figure it out. But anyway, it's funny because I pulled this card. It feels like for this 9-9 portal, it's not so much about chasing energy or like specific like manifestation energy, but it's making the choice whether to manifest or pursue or do something active or to sit back. And then this card had fallen on the floor. Sit back and chill. I almost saw the visual of someone like sitting back in an armchair, like relaxing. That's crazy how that, and then I instead of having the sexy card out, I just went ahead and covered it just because YouTube, family friendly. I feel like there's a lot of changes, especially until the end of the year. Saturn comes out of retrograde. Saturn is the planet of restrictions, of karma, of discipline. Saturn comes out of retrograde November 19th, and it's been in retrograde for several months now. So there's going to be sort of like almost like a sigh of relief when that happens, as well as like sort of insta karma almost when that happens. I'm so relieved that I checked the phone when I did, because that was almost really not good. I thought I had lost the whole reading, and I was about to get so sad. So sad. What you all need to know at this time is if you're feeling tired, to honor that, to rest. If something is being illuminated to you, in particular, a pattern, a relationship that needs to be examined more closely, something from childhood that needs examination or evaluation, even a particular behavioral pattern or like friendships, honor that that's being illuminated to you by your guides and by the divine. It may need examination. Go deep within your intuition to examine that. You are being pushed toward a higher vibration and your higher good by the divine, by your ancestors specifically. I sort of see all these little stars as like your ancestors. And a lot of times, the ancestors that we think are supporting us, or the ancestors that are closest by us are people that, we may not have even known in life. I never met my paternal grandfather, and I found out that he played all kinds of musical instruments. And I always sort of had this sort of level of fixation on his name, his one of his names. And I sort of take that as a sign, and I got another sign, a couple signs recently, that he is pretty close by me, my paternal grandfather, and he wants to come in further, and I need to open up and like allow that in. And I never knew him in life. He passed before I was born. So all that's to say is, like, your ancestors may be pointing certain things out to you, might be helping you along your divine feminine path, your illumination path, your pointing out your gifts, illuminating your gifts, sort of pointing certain crystals or herbs or practices. If you're not meditating every day, either pick 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes before you go to bed, just to clear your mind and focus on your breath and try to connect with your higher power and see what comes up for you. You would be shocked at the downloads you'd receive when you kind of clear the mental clutter of phones pinging and dinging. And yeah, just take this opportunity, because portals happen all the time. I think that a lot of times people will freak out about Lionsgate and make a big hustle and bustle on social media, but all it is an energetic opportunity, an energetic pull, a doorway that you can step through or you can ignore it. And it's not to say if you ignore it that that's wrong or less than somebody using it to harness and manifest. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying sort of do your thing regardless, but be aware that, of the environment, right? Because, you can have an agenda for the day. I have the hairdresser at 10. Then, I'm going to work at 1. Make sure stop and get a sandwich on the way. But if it's raining, maybe you're going to wear a raincoat or rain boots, or you're going to make sure to pack an umbrella or allow a little extra time getting to and from to account for crazy people driving. And if it's not raining, then it's just a smidge different. That's all. So it's like taking the temperature. I mean, that's all these, when we talk about full moon energy, new moon energy, when we talk about these portals, when we talk about certain planets in retrograde, it's like checking the weather before heading out for the day. It's like, what's the climate? What's the environment? So anyway, I've been feeling really called for a while to get you guys a message, and I wasn't sure how all of this was going to come out and shake out, but I think that this is pretty close to what I want to say. I think that's everything I want to say. So if this resonates for you, feel free to drop a comment. You know that I love to read and respond to your comments. I'll get you guys a reading as soon as I can. I apologize for the delay again. Like I said, I've just been, like I said to you guys, my energy has been feeling depleted, and I've been needing to honor that and rest more than my will is greater than my body capacity sometimes. So I just thank you guys for your patience, and I really appreciate you guys watching this video, even if it is me talking with not a lot of cards. And we'll get back to your regularly scheduled programming with the next one. Okay? Thank you so much. Any blessings? Bye.